Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Mitch from Mitch Reviews Everything. Today I'll be reviewing Magnificent Wonderman from Shaolin, or simply Wonderman from Shaolin from 1979. This one has two directors attached to it, one being the master of the cut and paste, one of my favorites, Godfrey Ho, and the other director, Kim Seon-Gyeong. This one gets billed out of South Korea where it was filmed, and it was put out by the Films, Arts, and Services Company in association with Asso Asian Films, both obviously closely tied with my good buddy, Godfrey Ho. This one stars Casanova Wong and Hyeon So. Now, I kind of want to go back to the double billing on directors for this film. While I was looking up this film and reading about it, I came across a review on cityonfire.com by Paul Bramhall. Bramhall states in his review that this was actually a reworking of a film from 1977 called Golden Gate that was released in South Korea. Now, knowing Godfrey Ho, it sounds like he basically took this film and just did a little bit of editing, maybe moved around a couple things. I didn't see any footage that seemed like it was new for this, as we all know Godfrey Ho likes to do. So it probably was just a re-edit. The dubbing was probably most likely all his. The version I watched was English dubbed, and he probably had worked all that out and basically rewrote a script for this thing in the English dub version of the film. So if you're a Godfrey Ho fan, you're in for a real treat. This one features the Mongolians invading China once again, and there's a priest heading back to his temple so he can check on how they've been training in the year that he's been gone. And he's brought with him two companions along the way that he picked up. The main bad guy, Hyeon, and his companion, Casanova Wong, our main hero. As they return back to the temple, it kind of gets a little bit confusing. The priest is very upset at the monks when he realizes that they have not trained nearly hard enough, and he warns them about the onslaught of the Mongolian horde that's heading to take over different parts of China. But it is kind of head-scratching because Hyeon, you find out, he reveals to the monks in the temple that he himself is actually a Mongolian, which is kind of surprising why the priest, who is very afraid of the Mongolians, or at least afraid of their onslaught, would bring back a Mongolian himself. It's kind of head-scratching. It's kind of one of those things that gets lost in translation. I don't know, or maybe it's one of those cases of keeping your enemies closer than your friends. Who knows? The priest, however, he does have a plan, and it involves a hidden golden Buddha statue that's hidden somewhere on the temple grounds. And he reveals to a couple of the other monks that they're going to use this golden Buddha statue to make weapons out of, to fight the Mongolian horde, of course. But it's kind of, again, another head-scratcher. I'm not sure what kind of weapons these are going to be. Maybe they're going to be magical weapons. Who knows? Hyeon does catch on to the plan, and he definitely wants that golden statue. And not only does he want the golden statue, well, he's here to invade. He wants to take over the temple. He gets a couple other like-minded individuals that are hanging around the temple. And while Hyeon is plotting to take over the temple, Casanova the entire time was pretending to be a mute and deaf individual to trick everybody into thinking he was a simpleton. But he had been plotting the whole time, because this movie turns into a classic revenge story where you find out Casanova's father was murdered by Hyeon, and he's been traveling around with Hyeon, waiting for the right moment to strike so he could take revenge. And the reason he has not been able to take revenge any sooner is because he is definitely afraid of Hyeon's wind blade technique, which is essentially the wind blows around and they swing the camera around a whole bunch. He is absolutely terrified of it. Circumstances in the movie lead Casanova into learning a technique called the Fire Fist due to the fact of meeting the love interest, whose father was also murdered by Hyeon, and he had a sacred book that had the Fire Fist technique inside of it. And now that he knows the Fire Fist technique, he feels fully equipped to take on the old wind blade from Hyeon. We'll leave the plot there for now. Magnificent Wonderman from Shaolin's Kung Fu starts off in this film very stiff. It just feels also, I don't know, predicted. It's one of those movies you look and it looks like every single movie every single move there's a pause between the movement. So they go to punch and there's a block and there's a pause and then they continue on. Now that's just like the beginning of the film. So at the beginning I was a little bit worried about this one. I was like, I don't know. But by the time you get to the end, The last couple of the fights in this film really kind of smoothed out. The choreography got a little bit better, but that first couple fights in this film are very rough, very stiff, but it gets a little bit more fluid. It feels a little bit more natural by the end of the film. However, Casanova, he is very well known for his kicks, and by the end of the film, you kind of understand why. Now, the kung fu in this movie is definitely not very memorable, even with Casanova's kicks. But the thing that is memorable about the kung fu is Casanova's technique, the fire fist, because I can't think anything else like this in a kung fu movie. The sun actually powers the fire fist. Al Gore would be very, very proud. So utilizing the power of the sun, he can use the fire fist, but it comes with a catch. Can't use it at night or when it's cloudy. Only when the sun is out can you use the fire fist. So it kind of creates a bit of a dynamic of when he can actually fight Hyeon and take him on. The wind blade technique from Hyeon, very, very forgettable. You don't actually get to see what it is. The camera just kind of shakes around in circles. But those are the things that are memorable. The fire fist technique is very memorable about this film. I think that's the one thing that really sticks out about this film. At the end of the day, this is a pretty basic kung fu film. You know, if you're trying to get this film because you want to see some of Godfrey Ho's ninjas, they're not here. They have not arrived. This is one of the earlier films edited or reworked by Godfrey. So no ninjas, unfortunately, no crazy transitions or anything like that. So if you're looking for that, this is probably this is more of a basic kung fu film. And really, there's nothing wrong with that. Other than the stiffness at the beginning of the film and the kung fu, I really can't see anything wrong. The English dub was not too bad. And the version I watched of this film is available all on YouTube. So if you're on YouTube, you can watch this movie. However, I warn you, the quality of the ones on YouTube is not that great. But you can, in fact, purchase this film. It was released in 2003 on DVD. And at the time of the posting of this video, there were a couple copies floating around there on eBay. So maybe you can snag up one of those. Not the greatest kung fu movie ever, but sufficient. I think anybody who likes classic kung fu will enjoy this one. So, hey, check it out. Hey, you watch it for free on YouTube. Why not? Anyway, this has been Mitch, and this is Mitch Reviews Everything. I will see you again.